Slot speaking to him for the first time. It's on the phone. What are you staying, lads, or what? Trent's probably the most talked about fullback I've ever known in my life. But I think that's the nature because he's different. We've never seen anyone like him before. Really, I even like your Cafus and your Roberto Carloses are not like Trent. He's a playmaker from fullback. I've never seen that before, really, and the influence he has on a team, or certainly the Liverpool team, creatively. So I think we've all grew up with this impression of what a fullback looks like in our head.
Yeah.
And I used to get criticism the opposite way of Trent, in that you don't do the attacking side of it, but defensively, I was like basically like a centre-back playing fullback. And Trent almost gets the opposite criticism. And in the end, I had to move position. Well, not had to, but I moved to position back to me best position. And it's just, we keep going back to that. Will Trent move position under Arne Slot? I do think about that, because the reason I do think about it is, and I know what happened in the summer and stuff like that, but that doesn't make me feel that Trent couldn't play in midfield. But when you're talking about, I was saying before about young players making an impression, Conor Bradley's made an impression. He's made a big impression. Now, in 12, 18 months' time, Conor Bradley will need to be first choice, or he'd have to move on. If, say, Trent stayed at right back, Conor Bradley's not going to stay back up right back for Liverpool forever, considering the performances that he's put in. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be interesting how Liverpool deal with that situation over the next 12 months, because I think right now it's right that Conor Bradley is still learning his trade and playing maybe when Trent doesn't, but eventually that lad will want to play. But with Trent, I know what you're saying. He gets criticised for it, but you know why he gets criticised for it? Because it's the easiest part of the job he's doing. Because you're looking at fullbacks up and down the league who are decent fullbacks, but you see some of the things he can do that are like no one in the world can do that. No one in the world can do that. So even when I watch him, I'm just thinking, if he could just get a little bit, it doesn't have to be like. I mean, I used to go into a game thinking, I've got to keep a clean sheet, I've got to stop your winger crossing, I've got to be aggressive, I've got to make challenges, because I couldn't do anything else. And you just want Trent to sort of just be he doesn't have to be the way I was or have that mentality, just be a little bit more switched on, a little bit more aggressive, and you're playing for Liverpool, and you're going to have loads of the ball, and then you can just show us why you are one of the best fullbacks in world football. So I know you say he gets criticised, but when you're playing for Liverpool and he's that good at playing, he's that big a name, because how many bigger names as fullbacks are there than Trent? There's not, is there?
No. You're going back to Carlos.
When you talk about like the best players in the Premier League, if you named, I don't know, say you said you were the best 10, 15, say the top 20 players in the Premier League, and we've done it for the last 20 years every season, how often would a fullback be in that list?
Ashley Cole was the only one who could maybe stake a claim for top 20?
Maybe, but he was what you imagined as a fullback.
Yeah, he was
aggressive, he got forward, he went up and down the line. But he wasn't. He's just different. I think you'd say Trent was a great player before you'd even said he was a great fullback. If you know what I mean, he's just a great player, and that's what makes him different, and that's what makes him special, and that's why Liverpool have got to get this contract sorted out for him. But it will be interesting whether he sees his situation as a local player the way I did, which was like, I want to play for Liverpool my whole life. Stevie, obviously, because he was getting courted by Real Madrid. Obviously, Chelsea stuff, but Real Madrid came for him every summer. I don't think he was ever close to going there, if I'm being totally honest, but Trent will, I'm sure, will have that. But it's what you want, what you want. You want to sample. I don't think anyone could criticise him too much, but I do think we expect a little bit more. We do, fans do, of local players, about it in terms of staying at the club or moving on.
I've had the chance to speak to Slot in Carolina on the tour, and that was one of the questions I put to him. I said, I seen an interview with Trent saying he spoke to you before the Euros, and did he sort of reaffirm his commitment? And he said, we didn't speak about his commitment, which surprised me. Don't know whether he was kidding me on or what, but he said we sort of spoke about where I see him playing, and that surprised me really. If it was true that he hadn't spoken, whether his vice captain was committed for the season ahead, and considering with the contract situation hanging over him.
It's difficult, isn't it? Slot speaking to him for the first time. It's on the phone. What are you staying, lads, or what?
Yeah.
You know, is that what you're going to say? And he probably doesn't want to come across as too much on the front foot. He's speaking football. He's probably trying to get him on side, tell him out his ideas that sort of make Trent want to sort of be part of Arne Slot's Liverpool. And I think, the manager will leave that to, other people speaking to his aides. He's sure there's talks going on. He probably doesn't want to throw a spanner in the works himself and say something maybe.
Yeah, he does.
He says something that maybe doesn't go down well with Trent or whatever. So I think that's all that'll be. But listen, if he was to move on, I mean, there's not many better backups than what we've got at the moment. So I think he's done really well in pre-season as well, Conor Bradley. And he is what you'd imagine as a full-back, isn't he? When you see him play, you think, that's how I imagine a full-back playing. He's just up and down, isn't he? He's almost like Robbo, isn't he? But on the other side.